Well, hello there. Happy Saturday after Thanksgiving or sometime, whatever day it is you happen to be practicing with me, maybe on video. My name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios in Vermont. Today, our focus is on the letter P, which stands for pigeon. It also stands for patience and practice. It also stands for pain in the neck. We'll do a little neck work today as well, but our total orientation is on opening up and releasing and supporting the opening of the hips where we tend to hold a lot more tension, especially in the fall and winter time. And also, this sort of came to mind as part of Thanksgiving bird related things. We're actually going to start this morning or whatever time it is you're practicing with the Kali Mudra. And with the Kali Mudra, place the palms together in front of your heart. Interlace your fingers so that your right thumb is on top of your left. So you have that sort of shape. And then go ahead and take the index fingers and extend them, allowing the finger pads to touch. This mudra of release is good for metabolism. It's good for spiritual and emotional release. It's also good for physical release. So you might consider now something that you perceive as an obstacle for yourself, whether that is something physical, whether it's something at work or with a loved one or some other relationship. So consider an obstacle or something you perceive to be an obstacle in your life. Let the eyes close or cast them downward and then shrug the shoulders up toward the ears on a breath in. Press them behind you and release them on the breath out. It's almost as if they're rolling backward and then draping down the back toward the hips. Gather the belly in, tuck the tailbone forward a little bit. Again, breathe in, rise the shoulders, lift the shoulders toward the ears, squeeze. Breathe out, press the shoulders behind you, release them. And one more time. And with that obstacle in mind, if it is not something physical, imagine that you are walking a path and there's a representation of that obstacle in front of you. Maybe it's a big mound of dirt. Maybe it's a huge, giant tree. Maybe it's rocks. With your eyes closed, you allow any sound around you to come forefront in your hearing, in your mind. And in this picture of you on a path with the obstacle in front of you, our Kali Mudra directs energy right from the heart, a sense of release, right from the throat, a sense of purification. And it's almost as if you can see sound waves coming from yourself toward this obstacle. It starts to minimize. It shrinks right in front of you. It shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Until when you open your eyes, you notice it's just a pebble. And to remind you of the power of your own mind and heart and spirit, you pick up that pebble and you put it in a pocket. And you continue along your way. Big breath in. Clear, clean breath out. 2 more. Drop your chin to your chest. A little pendulum swing of the chin left and right, taking your time, the breath in, the chin moves toward one shoulder, and a breath out, the chin moves toward your chest. Only go as far as it feels okay for you. First and foremost in this practice is safety. The next time the chin drops to the chest, go ahead and lift it so it's parallel to the earth. And turn your head so the chin comes over the right shoulder. Breathe in. Twist the neck on the breath out. Inhale. And twist. Opening up, releasing tension in the neck. Breathe in. Releasing obstacles in the throat, the speech, the words, the sounds. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist other side. Breathe in and twist. One more round. Inhale, front and center. Consider now an intention for this practice, or maybe it's something that brought you to your mat, the motivation for practicing today. And consider that for a moment with 3 breaths, not overly focused, but not drifting away. Let's surround ourselves with those intentions, those motivations, all of the things that make sense about coming to practice. We'll do so imagining that the intentions are riding out on our own, whether you chant it aloud or have it come quietly, silently out of your mouth. We're going to take a cleansing breath and then we'll move into Om. Breathe in as fully as you can. Breathe out through the mouth. This time with Om. Release your hands by your sides on the mat. Maybe fingertips are on the earth, depending on your physical situation. Maybe the palms are on the earth, maybe not. I just remembered, if you do not have something you can slide under your buttocks in pigeon, you want to grab that now. I have a block because I know what I need. If you have a sweatshirt, you can just roll that up. If you have a water bottle that's closed up, you can use that, or roll of toilet paper, a cushion, doesn't really matter. Press the shoulders down, lift the heart. Lift the arms in front and then overhead, a breath in. Exhale, cactus shape arms. Breathe in, reaching from the center of the chest, the center of the spine, elbows making you larger in the space, fingers like you mean it. Drop the left hand down, float the right arm high, breathe in. On an exhale, a tilt over to the right. Maybe lift the heart, maybe lift the gaze. We're going to move into a twist. We're going to straighten up. Drop the right hand outside the left thigh. Take the left hand behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, twisty, twisty, releasing all the tension in the spine. Or maybe you don't release all of it. Maybe it takes time over time. We're going to come forward, keep the right hand where it is, and cross the left hand to the other thigh. Then round the spine, drop your head. Really curling into a ball, like a hedgehog does as it's defending itself. I'm going to go ahead and take that twist to the other side. Right hand behind, sitting up tall. We're going to go ahead and lift the right arm. Lift the left arm. Cactus shape arms, open up the chest. Right hand down, left arm high. And a tilt over to the right. Really opening up the rib cage. Imagining it's like the rib cage of a boat, like a nice big ship or yacht. All of that roundedness. We're going to rise back up. We need to take our roundedness on the other side. I'm going to place the right hand on the left hand on the right thigh. Cross the right arm over that one. Round the spine. Drop the head. Drop your chin. Now, if you're sitting on a cushion or a block or something else, go ahead and remove that. We're going to start some seated, gentle opening of the hips in our gate latch rock star pose. Left leg long out to the side, right foot in toward that thigh. We're going to take a peek over the right knee. Activate both feet. Take your left forearm and bring it inside your left thigh or on top of it. We're going to lift the right arm high and take a tilt over. So a deeper tilt than we did in our other seated posture. If you can reach your toes, cool. If you can't, also cool. But if you can, you might take a yogi toe lock or grab your big toe. As we rise up, the right hand comes behind us. We shift on to the right shin and rock star out. Hips move forward. Left arm high, fingers wide, pressing into the outer edge and the big toe mound of the foot on the extended leg. And we come across, sitting back down, taking a look at the left toes, and we take a fold over that leg. You might get deeper than I, and that's totally cool. You might find you're super tight. If you happen to reach your foot, that's cool. But you want to reach the chest toward the foot. Rise back up. Bring the soles of your feet together and make a big extra diamond, because you already have a diamond. Inside the legs, you want a nice wide diamond. You're going to tuck your wrists underneath the ankles. Shift the heart forward. Use the elbows to let the knees come closer to the ground. So the elbows are pressing into the thighs. Reach around your spine. Drop your head. Gentle, kind, seated opening of the hips and the spine. Lift back up. This time, right leg extends out to the right. Sole of the left foot comes as close to that thigh as possible. We take a peek over the left knee. Right forearm inside the right leg. Left arm lifts high. We take our tilt over toward our foot. Rise back up, both arms high. The left hand comes behind you, shifting onto the left shin. Press the right foot to the earth and press the pelvis forward. Rock star, you can come into a long angle here if that feels really good, or even if it just feels good, doesn't have to feel really good, or the arm can come straight up. We come back to our seat, take a look over the right leg, flex the toes toward us, and take a fold. This time we'll lift up, bring the soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Let's sit up nice and tall here, using our either thumbs inside the foot arches or hands on the ankles, and the elbows can help press the knees away and down. Oh, that feels so nice. Move into a child's pose, Balasana 2, with the knees nice and wide. Sitting bones come toward the heels. Arms are long in front of you, so they're nice and extended. Palms are on the ground. I'm going to go ahead and remove my sweatshirt. In child's pose, your big toes touch. Your knees are maybe as wide or wider than your mat. Your forehead rests on something. So I suggest that if the body is resisting putting the forehead on the floor, that you place your blanket or something underneath it. If you don't have a prop, you can always stack your hands and place your head on your hands. This is a really yummy spine opener and hip opener. Maybe you come back to your intention here and rock the head a little left and a little right. Keeping the arms extended, place the pinky fingers on the ground and the palms face one another and they touch. Bring the head back to the ground. Take a couple of breaths here, starting to feel the shoulders open. Just because we're working primarily into pigeon and on the hips doesn't mean we don't work on the rest of the body. We want to be as balanced and even as possible. Then bend the elbows, bring the fingers to the nape of the neck or between your shoulder blades. Once the thumbs are sort of settled where they're going to be, one at a time, walk the elbows forward until they can't walk forward anymore. Head is still on the ground. Sitting bone energy is moving toward your heels. So the energy of your glutes moving toward your heels. Belly can draw in just a teeny tiny bit. And you work to have the shoelace sides of the feet as much on the floor as possible, stretching out the front of your ankle and the top of the feet. Here we're working the triceps under the arms, across the shoulders, the chest as you settle the chest toward the earth. I'm going to work a little quad opener, bringing the hands to the ground. We draw into a tabletop. You'll need to shift the wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Then bring the feet a little wider so that they are knee distance or hip width distance. Go ahead and take any movement or shape that the body calls for. I'm going to move into some traditional cats and cows where scooping the belly in, rounding the shoulders, tucking the tail, dropping the head as the cat on the breath out, and dropping the belly, lifting the head, the chest, and the hips is the breath in for the cow shape. My back does not make a huge arch in my cow shape, so if you are using me as a guide, remember that your body does things differently from mine. Now for the quad stretch, we're going to go ahead and float the right leg off the mat behind us. Square up the hips. Then bend the right knee and flex your right foot. So your thigh is parallel to the earth. Your shin is perpendicular. We're going to draw the knee to the nose, but we're going to keep, as we come back out of this on the exhale, we're going to keep the knee bent and the foot flexed. So we're working the glutes, we're working the thighs, we're working the hip flexors in the front of the leg. Continue for 6 of those. Breath out, knee toward the nose. Breath in, reaching the foot like you're stepping on the sky. I lost count, so I'm going to do 2 more. Let's go ahead and draw the knee above the elbow as our last moment here. Extend the leg behind fully. Then go ahead and sweep the right leg above the left calf, way out to the left side. Instead of dropping the toes onto the ground with the toes curled, untuck your toes, and then go ahead and glide the front of the right hip toward the left heel. You might come to your forearms. Here you should start to feel an opening all along the left side. If it's too much, you might feel a little bit on the inner thigh as well. If it's too much, you can come out of it a little bit. If you can work a little bit more, you can tuck your right toes under, lift the right knee off the mat, And press that right heel farther away from you. And breathe. Removing obstacles. Maybe you take the Kali Mudra here. Obstacles in our own minds, in our hearts, or maybe there's a physical obstacle, but we want to be safe. Coming back to our three-legged dog, we draw the knee to the mat. Readjust as you need to, and then go ahead and take any motion or shape. This time I'm going to take hip circles, 3 on each side. It's getting the hips a little more fluid, a little more lubricated. And all those shenanigans will happen on the other side. Coming back to a neutral tabletop, belly drawn in, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to go ahead and float the left leg, but we're going to keep the left knee bent so that the shin is as perpendicular to the floor as possible. I'm looking at myself. I can see my thigh is far from parallel to the floor, but that's the fullest expression of the posture, is the thigh is parallel to the floor. Knee will draw to the nose, breath out. Breath in. We keep the shape of the leg. 2. Squeezing the glutes, squeezing the hamstrings. 3. 4. Keep the belly strong. 5. And 6. This time we extend the leg. We sweep it over the opposite leg. Draw the front of the left hip toward your right heel. Maybe come to your forearms. Perhaps take your Kali Mudra, interlacing the fingers, right thumb over left, index fingers extend and press against one another. If you have more space to work with on the right thigh and hip and glutes, you can tuck your left toes under, float the knee off the mat, and reach the left heel farther away from you. Hands to the mat. 3-legged dog. Knee above the left elbow. Inhale, extend. And the knee comes to the mat. Maybe a little wiggle waggle. Hands walk forward about 3 inches. Toes tuck underneath. On an exhale, using the belly and the outlines of the hands like you're gripping a basketball. I've never gripped a basketball. My hands are not big enough for that, but I'm imagining what that's like. And you're going to float the hips high for your downward dog. Feel free to pedal into the dog, finding a little movement, a little space to work with as we continue the lengthening of the hamstrings and the work on the spine. Rise up to your tiptoes, bend your knees, look past your hands, and walk to the top of your mat. Find whatever mobility method works for you. Feet come parallel to the outer edges of the mat for your forward fold. Maybe that's a ragdoll. Noggin is heavy. We tend to put a lot on the neck and the head during a regular day's activities, including yoga. See if you can make the neck like a bungee cord. And imagine, not only do you not need the physical head, the skull, you don't need the brain, the thinking. Release your hands. Glide them through your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing, head comes up last. Arms will float wide and high overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart, Samasthihi. Drop your hands by your sides, mountain pose. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart, modified chair. If you like in this chair, you can grab whatever prop you have and put it between your knees and thighs and hang onto it, tucking your tailbone, lifting your heart. Your heart is not over your knees, it's somewhere between the knees and the hips. Rise up to the balls of the feet. Sink a little bit deeper. Bring your heels to the earth. Such a great workout chair with a prop. Remove your prop. Now let's leave the prop. Interlace the hands behind you or hook your fingers and open up your heart. Rise to the tiptoes again. Sink down a little bit more. Send your heels to the ground. See if you can keep your prop where it is and take a fold, lengthening your legs a bit. Fold over your legs and maybe your bind remains, but it floats from the spine. Hands release to the earth, halfway lift. Forward fold, release your prop. Float all the way to standing. Exhale, cactus shape arms. Draw your forearms together in front of you. Zip them up all the way to the fingertips. Lift the elbows, shoulder height or higher. Eagle arms, right elbow underneath the left. Draw that belly in and up. Rather than shifting your hips or your knees forward, soften your knees a little bit and gather the belly in. Give yourself a little hug. Left elbow should be on top. Then we're going to go ahead and point the right fingers toward the sky. Extend the left elbow out to the right. Lift the right elbow and you're looking at your palm. Take a twist to the right, breath out. Keep your hips square. Return to center. Release the arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Yogi toe lock. Maybe the feet come a little bit wider. Peace fingers come inside the big toes. And the thumbs rest on the top of the toes. Breathe in, half lift. Breathe out, elbows bend out to either side. Belly comes close to the thighs. Knees are soft. Release your bind. Walk your hands to the outside of your left foot. Drop your head. Press both big toe mounds into the earth. Inhale through center. Exhale, hands walk to the outside of your right foot. Hands to the center. Inhale, half lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Stay here for a full round of breath. Open up the heart. Next exhale, release. Rise all the way to standing. Arms reach up. Maybe you tickle the clouds with your fingers. Cactus shape arms. Opening up the rib cage and the heart. The shoulder blades start to fall a little in love with each other. Let's lift the toes off the mat. Spread them nice and wide. And one at a time, starting with the pinky toes, bring them back to the mat. Forearms draw together once again. Zip them up. Press them all the way to the fingertips. Lift the elbows shoulder height or higher. This time, eagle arms left under right. Elbows lift shoulder height or higher. Tuck that tailbone. Hug yourself. Crawl the fingertips toward one another behind you. What a nice hug. Make your left arm perpendicular, left forearm perpendicular to the floor, and extend your right arm to the left. Lift the left elbow. You're facing your left palm. Breathe in. Exhale, a twist to the left. Come front and center. Release the arms by your sides, out and up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. We're going to start working a little more on the hip opening. Exhale, forward fold. The left foot glides to the back of the mat. Take it as far behind you as you can. Press the heel away. If you need blocks or something under your hands, take it. If balance is an issue, maybe move your left foot over to the left or your right foot over to the right. We're going to take a little dip of the left knee toward the mat, but we're not going to drop it all the way down. Then we're going to extend the left leg. Then extend the right leg to fold over it. Inhale, peel forward, runner's lunge. Work the belly energy as if the belly could lift away from the mat. Dip your left knee, but don't touch down. Extend the left leg. Reach back with that heel. Draw the kneecap toward the quad. Extend your right leg, fold over it. Inhale, peel forward. One more time. This time we drop the left knee to the mat. Extend the left leg again. Extend the right leg. Draw back into your tabletop, your runner's lunge. Left hand down under your shoulder, heel of the right hand on your low back. Lift halfway up with your spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Reach back with that left heel. Mine was getting lazy. As you drop your right hand to the mat, bring it inside your right foot and heel toe the right foot to the right edge of the mat. Point your right toes to the right. See if you can keep the left knee off the mat as you plant the left hand just forward of your left shoulder. Right hand comes inside your right thigh. Keep the right foot on the ground as you press the right knee away and take a twist. You might decide you want to drop the back knee. You might decide you want to create a quad stretch of this by bending the back knee. And maybe if you have the stretchiness, you could reach around with the right hand and take a hold of your left pant leg, ankle, or foot. Really work on pressing the right knee out and down, out and down. Come forward. Drop your left toes to the earth, right hand inside your right foot. Right toes point forward. I'm going to tuck the left toes under and come to the long edge of the mat. Find a little spinning motion and then bring your feet parallel to one another for a wide-legged forward fold, facing the long edge of your mat. Hands to your hips, lift halfway up. Bring your shoulders toward your hips. Bring your sitting bones back and your belly button in. Exhale, fold. And take all that to the other side, working toward the back of the mat, which, if you need reference, will give you a little bit more reference for what it looks like from the back. So you're going to spin to the short edge of the mat at the back, runner's lunge. Adjusting if you need to for balance. Working onto your finger tops as opposed to the palms of your hands, or maybe you've got blocks underneath you. Belly energy drawing away from the thigh. Reach that right heel behind and slowly drop the right knee, but don't touch the mat. Extend the right leg. Draw the kneecap toward your quad. Extend the left leg and fold over it. Inhale, peel forward, runner's lunge. Shoulders toward your hips. Drop the back knee. Don't tap it. Get like an inch away from it. Extend the right leg. Really work it straight. Extend the left leg, fold. Imagine you're tractioning that left foot toward the other side of your mat. Runner's lunge. Third time, this time we tap the knee down. Stretch that leg long again. Lengthen the front leg, fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, right knee down. Untuck your toes. Left hand to the low back and your twist. Actually, we took that with the back knee up, didn't we? So bring your right knee off the mat. Find your twist. This time, left hand down inside the left foot. Heel toe the left foot to the edge of your mat. Point the toes to the left. See if you can keep your back knee off the mat. Left foot stays all the way on the mat. Left hand inside the left knee or thigh. We press that thigh away and down and take a twist over to the left. And maybe find the quad stretch on this side by dropping the right knee, bending it, reaching. Right foot down, left toes point to the short edge of the mat. Hands inside the left leg and foot on the mat. Lift the back knee. Return to the long edge of your mat. Toes in, heels out, head heavy. You might spin your hands to the opposite end of your mat and walk them through. Hands come back. Hands to your hips, rise back up. We're going to take warrior two before we move into our pigeon. So with your legs nice and wide, you're going to spin on the ball of your right foot so that the heel is pointing toward your left foot and the toes are pointing toward the front of your mat. Bend into your right knee. I need to shorten my stance a little bit. Knee is coming over the right ankle. Back leg is nice and straight. Arms float out, gaze over the middle finger. Tailbone tucked, shoulders over hips. Front palm flips for a reverse. This is a really nice hip opener as well. Warrior two. And reverse. Warrior two. One more time. Reverse. Warrior two, hands on your hips. Pivot on the right heel so the right foot is parallel to the front of the mat. Then pivot on the left, the ball, the left foot, bringing your right heel to point toward your left heel to point toward your right foot. And your left toes directly aligning with the back edge of the mat. Bend your front knee, your left knee. Arms out in a T. Back leg nice and powerful. Reverse. Warrior two. Really work that left knee away from the midline. Mine likes to drop right in. Reverse. Warrior two. And one more time, reverse. Warrior two. Hands to your hips. Pivot to the long edge of your mat. Pivot on your right heel so your right foot faces forward. Come to the ball of the back foot and draw your back knee down to the earth. In our last 10 minutes, we're going to do pigeon and then we'll move on to our back. So for pigeon, many of us like to move from a downward dog, lifting the right leg and then bringing the right knee behind the right wrist. You're welcome to take that. You might, however, try this different approach where you heel toe the right foot over toward the left hand. That helps you work the shin a little bit more parallel. Drop the right knee out to the right. And then if you have bad knees or it doesn't work for you, the right shin doesn't have to be parallel to the front of the mat, but go ahead and tuck the left toes under and see if you can reach that back leg a little bit longer, a little more straight out of the hip. And for me, I need a block underneath my right glutes. There is a posture called fallen angel where you can shift onto that right hip. That is not this posture. You want your hips to be as parallel, as squared up as possible, and thus the block. If you like a back bend, take it here, or you can move right into your fold, working your either onto the top of the right foot, or again, depending on your knee and your ankle, it might feel better to flex that foot a little bit more with the toes toward your knee. Sometimes when things aren't releasing fully, I stack my fists and place them side to side, top to bottom. Elbows reach outward so you can relax the shoulders. Breathe in and out. You might move in and out of the posture depending, but give yourself a few extra breaths if you feel like you reached your edge. I promise you haven't. So I encourage you to take deep, extended, full breaths to soften into the posture. In other words, allow the posture to happen rather than keeping the obstacle in front of you of, I can't do this, or this is uncomfortable, or I hate this posture, or why am I taking this class? And you might find over time, you actually can release deeper into the posture. Hands will come under the shoulders. We'll come back into our tabletop, drawing onto the left knee first, and then the right. And then we place the left foot toward the front of the mat. Heel toeing the left foot toward the right hand, the right wrist. For me, this is harder on this side. And then we tip that knee over to the left, bringing the left shin as parallel to the front of the mat as possible. For me on the left side, it's not possible. So the left heel comes closer to the right hip. Plant your prop. It's much needed on this side for me. And stay here. Or you can take your fold, first extending that right leg directly out of the hip behind you. Hands plant again under your shoulders. Remove any proppage you might be using. This time you will shift over onto the left hip. Swing your right leg forward. Soles of both of the feet on the mat. Hands on your knees. Sit up nice and tall. And then begin to slowly round so you can unzip your spine all the way down to the mat. We have about 5 minutes left. So if you like, you can go ahead and take a full body stretch or move right into legs up the wall or happy baby or hug your shins into your chest. Whatever you do, you're going to either take one posture for about 6 breaths, or you might take 2 for 3 breaths each. If you have low back tweaks or pain or discomfort, you might find happy baby and rock left and right. Tuck your chin to your chest. Drop the back of your head back down to the earth. You want a nice long spine. Sneak the shoulder blades toward the hip on the same side. And if you like, one last posture, a little twist. Soles of the feet onto the mat. Hips shift to the right. Knees drop to the left. Arms can plop out in a capital T as your gaze, even if it's an inner gaze, draws over toward the right hand. We breathe for 3. 2, removing any remaining obstacles. And 1. And then our final twist, soles of the feet on the mat. Spine nice and long. Shift the hips over to the left this time, so the knees can drop to the right. And your nose and chin and forehead and eyeballs and ears and everything move over toward the left. Turn toward the left. And finally, Shavasana. Shifting your spine so that it is as straight top to bottom as it would naturally be. Legs long on the mat, arms long by your side, but space between the limbs and space between the limbs and the side bodies. Huge inhale. Generous outhale. Outhale, exhale. We have removed obstacles. We have explored patience and practice and pigeon. We perhaps, if we've had a pain in the neck, maybe we have softened that. And I'm sure there were other letter P's going on. Deepen your breath and reawaken the body with some movement to garner enough movement and momentum to roll onto your favorite side. Maybe you don't have a favorite side, but maybe right now, right here, there's a side that makes sense. And on your side, a revisiting of your intention, your motivation. And consider if you'd like to make a dedication of all wonderful merits of this practice out to some being in need. It could be as close to you as yourself or a loved one, or maybe it's a group of people you don't know. Press yourself to a comfortable seat. We'll take the Kali Mudra once again, so interlace the fingers so the right thumb is over the left. Index fingers point straight up and down. We imagine the power of our spirit, our heart, of our practice, of our minds to minimize any obstacles, to purify what we face and how we act, to act without fear, with purpose, and with compassion. We'll close the practice sharing out our intentions and dedications and all the merits of this practice of yoga today to all beings in need. We'll use Om to do so. It could be silent or an out loud chant. Deep, generous breath in. Om. Unravel your fingers. Draw your thumb knuckles to your center forehead. May you be free of obstacles. May you bring joy. May you share compassion. Namaste. It is joyous to be able to practice with you, whether live or recorded. My name is Karen. Love to have you in the studio. We're in Warren, Vermont. But barring that, then video is fantastic. We'll keep coming to you at 10 a.m. on Saturdays for our winter and possibly some spring schedule. And we also have Friday nights at 5:30 and Sunday now at 9, live and in studio only. Hope to see you soon. Looking forward to organizing a retreat, and maybe you can come and visit for that. Hope you have a great day. saltandsandstudios.com. Take care.